Hi, I'm Nathan, 28, and 3 weeks ago I packed a single duffel bag, left a thanks for nothing note on my nightstand, and walked out of my parents' house, for good. It started with a car. But it's not really about the car. We were standing in the driveway when they gave my brother Jason the keys. A brand new, charcoal gray Honda Accord. Ribbons. Champagne flutes. Literal applause. He earned it, Mom said. Our responsible one. Responsible? Jason once microwaved a fork. Jason's last job lasted 6 weeks. Jason's credit score is a war crime. Me? I've been working since 16. Helped pay the mortgage when Dad got laid off. Deferred college to take care of Grandma. Still managed to graduate. Still managed to land a job in IT, hold it down, save up. And I'm still in that house because I was dumb enough to believe loyalty meant something. They called it a surprise. But I knew. The way my dad had been hinting at. Big news. The way Mom kept eyeing the driveway like it owed her a reveal. Jason was beaming like he just solved climate change. And I just stood there. Clapping like a background character. Where's mine? I joked. Not even bitter. Just trying to play along. Oh honey, Mom said, patting my arm. You don't need a car. You work from home. Right. Because owning your own car is a reward, not a necessity. Because Jason needed it for his real estate dream, the one he started 3 weeks ago after watching half a YouTube course and printing out 500 business cards that say, Jason M., hustler. Visionary. Closer. Meanwhile, my laptop charger is held together with duct tape. They gave him a $25,000 car. You know what I got for my birthday? A used laptop. Cracked screen. No charger. Handed to me with, it still works if you hold it just right. And still, I thought maybe it was just a misunderstanding. A weird phase. A temporary lapse in judgment. So I waited. Waited through the cake. Through the toasts. Through Jason's 30-minute, I'm gonna change the game speech. Through Mom crying about how proud she is. Through Dad calling him a self-made man. Jason hasn't made a bed since 2004. At midnight I went to my room, stared at my laptop, held it just right, and opened my bank app. I'd been saving for a place. Quietly. Steadily. For years. I had enough for first and last and a few months' cushion. And just like that, the decision was made. I packed my duffel. Left the note. Walked out past that gleaming car in the driveway. Didn't even slam the door. Just clicked it shut. My parents didn't even call me the first day I left. Not a single, "Where are you?" or "Are you okay?" Just radio silence. Like they were too busy helping Jason set up his car insurance and LinkedIn banner photo, your neighborhood realtor. Let's close. It had a stock photo of a mansion in Malibu. We live in Indiana. I moved into a one-bedroom with beige walls, a cracked tile kitchen, and a neighbor who smokes on the balcony while yelling at someone named Denise. Rent's not cheap. But it's mine. My space. My name on the lease. And for the first time in my life, when something breaks, it's because I used it, not because Jason borrowed it and blamed the cat. Day 3, Mom texted. Did you really leave over a car? No, Mom. I left because you've been playing favorites since the first time Jason learned how to cry on command. I left because I was tired of being the family's spare tire, only useful in emergencies. I left because calling your kid responsible and giving him a car while handing the other a busted laptop isn't parenting, it's PR. But I didn't say that. I wrote. No, I left because I finally could. She didn't respond. The thing about finally leaving is that you start to see the rot that felt normal when you were living in it. Like how every time Jason made a mess, I cleaned it. Every time he tanked a class or missed a rent payment or forgot to file taxes, I covered. Quietly. Without fanfare. Without being told I was the responsible one. Just because it felt like the right thing to do. I once gave him $500 when he, accidentally, overdrew his account. He said it was for rent. I found out he bought a drone. A drone. For aerial marketing content. You know what I got when I asked for help with my final semester's tuition? a lecture about budgeting, and a grocery gift card for $25. When I brought that up to Dad once, he said, "You're the kind of guy who doesn't need help." Cool. So I get punished for not being a screw-up. Jason posted a story that week. A selfie in his new car. Caption: "Some people earn things. Others just complain they didn't." I laughed. Then I blocked him. A week later, my doorbell rang. It was Jason. He had a problem. Of course. Jason stood there on my doorstep, hoodie half-zipped, car keys in one hand, desperation leaking out of his voice like a tire losing air. "I messed up," he said. I let him talk. Didn't invite him in. Just leaned against the doorframe in my sweatpants with a cold slice of pizza in one hand and the face of someone who finally had leverage. "I might have rear-ended someone," he said. "It's not that bad. But the guy's got a lawyer. And I didn't exactly register the car yet." Silence. "And technically I haven't, activated the insurance yet." "Jason," I said, "you've had the car for 2 weeks." He ran a hand through his hair like that was going to buy him IQ points. "It's been a busy 2 weeks, man. Real estate's no joke. What do you want from me?" He hesitated. Looked behind him like he expected a camera crew to yell surprise. And bail him out. "I was hoping you could loan me the cash to fix it. Just for now. Until I close my first deal." I almost laughed. He wanted me to pay for the damage on his free car. The one our parents gifted him for being responsible. The one I applauded while holding a second-hand laptop like an idiot in a party hat. "Jason," I said, "what do you think I do? Sit around all day counting my not-a-car money just waiting to sponsor your next crisis?" He blinked. Like he couldn't quite process the word no in real life. "You don't have to be a jerk about it." "I'm not being a jerk. I'm being consistent." "That's new for you, so I get the confusion." His jaw clenched. That always happened right before he made himself the victim. "Come on, man," he said. "We're brothers." I nodded. "Exactly. Not a bank. Not a crash pad. Not your get-out-of-responsibility-free card. Brothers. You're really gonna let me sink over one mistake?" "No, Jason. You are. I've just decided I'm not sinking with you." He stared at me like I'd just betrayed a sacred oath. Like I'd turned into someone unfamiliar. And maybe I had. Maybe that's what independence looks like to someone used to your servitude. When he left, he didn't slam the door. He just muttered, "You've changed." I stood there in the quiet. "I hope so." That night, Mom called. She wasn't calling to check on me. She was calling about Jason. Mom opened with a sigh. The long kind, the kind she used to use when I'd come home late from tutoring to find dishes still in the sink and Jason already asleep. "Nathan, he's struggling," she said. "He didn't mean to mess up the insurance. He's under so much pressure." I didn't say anything. "I know things haven't felt balanced lately," she added. I stared at my ceiling. Balanced? This wasn't a seesaw. It was a carnival ride where I shoveled coals so Jason could wave at the crowd. "He needs your support right now," she continued. "Not judgment." "Right. Because I'm the one judging. Not the people who handed one kid a car and the other a broken laptop and called it fair." "What exactly do you want from me, Mom?" A pause. Then the truth. "Can you loan him the money?" "Of course." Of course she called not to check on me, but to crowdsource Jason's bailout. "No." A beat. "No?" "Correct." "No. Not again. Not ever." She started in on the classics. "He's your brother, family helps family. We're not asking you to solve everything, just this once." "Just this once?" I said. "What was the last once? The one where I gave him rent money so he could buy a drone? The one where I co-signed his credit card because his score was weirdly low? Or was it the time I edited his resume and wrote his cover letters and prepped him for interviews he never showed up to?" Silence. "Nathan," she finally said, quiet now, "I just don't want the family to fall apart." That got me. "Mom," I said. It already did. She didn't reply. Not right away. She said she was sorry I felt that way. Which is not an apology. It's PR. The same tone she used when she'd defend Jason's disasters as learning moments. After she hung up, I sat on the floor and stared at my duffel bag. Still packed. I hadn't unpacked since I left. Then I stood up, unzipped it, and started putting things in drawers. I wasn't leaving this place. Not again. The next morning, Jason posted on Instagram. Some people are so obsessed with being right, they forget how to be family. And in the comments, Mom left 3 hearts. Not even subtle. I didn't reply. But I knew exactly what I was going to do next. I didn't post a reply. I posted a listing. My first act of petty independence wasn't a comment, a quote, or a vague Instagram story. It was an ad. Lightly used 2017 Dell laptop, cracked screen, missing charger. Comes with family baggage and deep-seated generational guilt. $50 OBO. Pickup only. I posted it to Facebook Marketplace. Tagged my mom. It sold in 3 hours. Some college kid named Derek showed up with exact change and a polite thank you. I almost cried handing it over. Not because I'd miss it, but because the symbolism was perfect. The final relic of my role in that house. Gone. Traded for cash. And peace. That same night, I did something I hadn't done in years. I opened my laptop, my new one, the one I bought with my own money, with a working screen and no family fingerprints, and I started writing everything down. Not a rant. Not a blog. Just the truth. The real version of things. Because when you're the responsible one, your story doesn't get told. You're just a footnote to your siblings' headlines. Jason the dreamer. Jason the struggler. Jason the comeback kid. And me? Nathan. Stable. Predictable. Wallpaper. So I wrote it all out. Every lopsided Christmas. Every time I got a pat on the back while Jason got a parade. Every sacrifice that was expected, but never acknowledged. Every one-way favor. Every be proud of your brother, while I quietly swallowed my resentment like vitamins. And when I was done, I emailed it. To them. Subject line. Just so you know. No greeting. No sign-off. Just the facts. Just the pattern. Just the cold math of love unequally distributed. They didn't reply that night. But the next day, something did change. Dad showed up. At my door. Not calling first. Not texting. Just standing there in his work jacket, holding a 6-pack and looking like a man who hadn't expected to be cast in the role of villain, and suddenly found himself in the script. "Can I come in?" he asked. I didn't answer right away. But I did step aside. Dad sat on the edge of my couch like it had thorns. The 6-pack stayed untouched on the coffee table. Coors Light. Of course. He cleared his throat. Twice. Then said, "I read your email." I nodded. "Wasn't sure you would." "Yeah, well." He scratched the back of his neck like it owed him an answer. "Your mom printed it out." "Of course she did. Probably triple-hole punched it and filed it under. Ungrateful son." He looked around the apartment like it was foreign territory. Like he was trying to find proof I was doing okay without them and also hoping I wasn't. "You really meant all that?" he asked. Every word. He took a long breath. "Not the theatrical kind. The I don't have a comeback kind. It's just," he started. "Your brothers always needed more. And I didn't? That's not what I meant. Isn't it?" I said. "You all just assumed I'd be fine. So you poured all the attention, the effort, the gifts into him. Because I was the low-maintenance model. No check engine lights. No drama. You were always solid," he said quietly. "Exactly. And you punished me for it." He flinched. "I bailed him out every time," I said. "I helped him fix his resume, loaned him cash, covered for him at Christmas when he forgot to buy you a gift. I kept showing up, and you kept acting like it was nothing." He looked down at his hands. "We just wanted to give him a chance." "No," I said. "You gave him a car. You gave me a cracked laptop and called it love." A long pause. Then he said something I'd never heard from him in 28 years. "I think I owe you an apology." My brain had to replay it twice to make sure it wasn't a stroke. Don't say it because you feel guilty. I warned. I'm saying it because I'm starting to see it, he said. I read that thing you wrote 3 times. At first I was angry. Then I was defensive. Then I couldn't stop thinking about the time you missed prom to drive your grandma to the ER and we barely thanked you. He looked up. I'm not good at showing stuff. No kidding. I didn't realize what it cost you to be the responsible one. I didn't realize how heavy that role was. We just. He stopped, swallowed. We leaned on you because you never asked us not to. That's not a compliment. I know, he said. And here's the thing, I believed him. Not because he cried. He didn't. Not because he offered to fix it. He didn't know how. But because, for the first time in my entire life, he listened to me without telling me why I was wrong. And then, just before he left, he said, I'll be selling the car. That stopped me. I told Jason, he said. If he wants to be treated like a grown-up, he can figure it out like one. We were wrong. About a lot. And just like that, the scales tilted. Not balanced. Not perfect. But the weight shifted. Dad left without expecting forgiveness. And that was the most respectful thing he'd ever done. The next day, Jason called. Not texted. Not voice memoed. Called. I let it ring twice just to feel the power, then picked up. Hey, he said. So, Dad told me you wrote a whole manifesto or something. I leaned back on my creaky kitchen chair. Sure. Let's go with that. He snorted. Guess I came off looking like the villain. Jason, you are the villain. You're the season finale plot twist nobody saw coming because we all thought you were just comic relief. He didn't laugh. Probably Googling villain to make sure it didn't mean entrepreneur. Look, he said. I didn't ask for the car. You did not ask for it. Silence. Then, in the quietest voice I've ever heard from him. I didn't know you were that mad. I rolled my eyes. I wasn't mad. I was exhausted. There's a difference. Okay, he said. So what now? Are we just done? I don't know. Are you gonna Venmo me for the drone you bought with my tuition money? He groaned. You're never letting that go, are you? Not until I get a thank you note. Handwritten. On stationery. Fine. I'll send you a scented candle too. Lavender. I said. I like lavender now. It was stupid. It was nothing. But it was something. I didn't trust him. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I wasn't angry anymore. Not because he deserved forgiveness. But because I deserved peace. He didn't apologize. He just made a dumb joke about hustling harder. And I let him. Because for the first time in years, he wasn't asking for a favor. He was asking for a space. And for the first time, I didn't offer to fix anything. That weekend, Mom sent a message. Not a text. A letter. On actual paper. Nathan. I've been thinking about everything you said. You're right, we were unfair. I think I told myself you were fine for so long, I stopped asking if you actually were. We've made you the fixer, the helper, the steady one. And never once asked what you needed. I'm sorry. I don't expect things to be okay overnight. But if you're willing to talk, we'd like to listen. Love. Mom. I didn't cry. But I did sit with it. For a long time. And then I put it in a drawer. Not because I was ignoring it. But because I was giving it time to mean something. A week later, I visited my parents. Just for lunch. Just me. No Jason. No apologies required. Dad didn't say much. Mom hugged me twice. The house felt smaller. But the silence didn't bite the way it used to. Before I left, Dad walked me to the door and said, You know, if you ever need help with a down payment. I stopped him. Thanks, I said. But I'm good. And for the first time in my life, I really, finally was. 3 weeks later, I bought a car. Not a new one. Not some ribbon-wrapped dealership special. Just a decent, reliable, 5-year-old Civic I paid for with my own savings and a little bit of credit. It didn't sparkle, but it started every time I turned the key. It had scuff marks on the door and smelled faintly like the last owner's dog. But it was mine. No strings. No guilt. No Instagram story attached. The first place I drove it was the grocery store. Not dramatic, I know. But when you've spent years asking, "Hey, anyone need anything while I'm out?" It feels revolutionary to walk into a store and buy only the things you want. That day it was frozen pizza, ginger ale, and a succulent named Terrence. Don't ask why. It felt right. When I got home, I parked in my assigned spot, turned off the engine, and just sat there. Not because I was tired. Because I was free. A few days after that, Jason emailed me. Actual email. Subject line: Update, no ask, I swear. He'd sold the car. Apparently, Dad gave him an ultimatum: get insured, registered, and employed by the end of the month, or give it back. Jason tried. He even got a part-time gig at a car dealership. Oh, the irony. But he couldn't keep up with the payments on the damage he'd done. So he sold it. Paid off the repair bill. Used what was left to take driving lessons so he could finally get his actual license, something I hadn't known he didn't have yet. The email ended with this: I didn't deserve the car. And you didn't deserve the laptop. I don't know if we'll ever be close, but I get it now. You weren't angry. You were done. I'm gonna try not to be someone people get done with. I didn't respond. But I didn't delete it either. I printed it out, folded it neatly, and tucked it in the same drawer where Mom's letter lived. Maybe one day I'd let them sit at the same table again. Maybe. In the meantime, I was building something new. It wasn't a mansion. It wasn't a big, I'll show them, victory. It was just quiet. Small. My own. I bought furniture that matched nothing except my taste. I cooked whatever I wanted, even when that meant peanut butter toast at 2 a.m. I read books I hadn't touched in years. I stayed up late watching terrible documentaries. I found out I loved cold ginger ale and hated scented trash bags. I learned that sometimes, peace sounds like a refrigerator humming in a place where nobody's asking you for anything. One night I got a text from Mom. Just a photo, her holding a plate of cookies with a caption that read, "Your favorite. Come by any time." I didn't rush over. But the next weekend I did stop by. We sat in the kitchen, just us. No Jason. No favors. No elephant in the room. Just cookies and coffee and a little bit of awkward laughter. She didn't bring up the car. Or the laptop. Or the fact that for a while, I'd disappeared from the family group chat entirely. She just asked how I liked my new place. I told her I loved it. She nodded. Said, "You always were the one holding things together." I raised an eyebrow. Was? She smiled. We're working on it. Before I left, Dad handed me a small box. Found this in the garage, he said. Inside was an old photo of me, age 12, fixing Jason's bike. Oil on my hands. No smile on my face. Just quiet concentration. On the back, in my mom's handwriting. Nate, our steady one. Steady. Reliable. Invisible. Not anymore. I left their house that day with full hands and a light heart. Drove home in my own car. Walked into my own apartment. Ate my own pizza. Watered Terrence the succulent like I was keeping a tiny promise. This wasn't revenge. Or a comeback. Or an "I told you so." It was closure. It was me, walking out of a life where love had to be earned and into one where love could just be. No car required. We don't always get the apology we want. Or the fairness we're owed. But sometimes you get something better. Distance. Clarity. A front door with a lock that only you have the key to. And that's worth more than any Honda.